For many years, Abraham and Sarah waited. They had walked through deserts, followed the voice of God, and believed a promise that seemed impossible. But now, the time had come. Years earlier, God had spoken to Abraham beneath the stars, "Look toward heaven, so shall your descendants be." But as the years passed, Sarah remained without a child. The promise seemed farther away with every passing season. But heaven had not forgotten, for God's promises never fail. And the Lord visited Sarah, just as he had promised. The impossible was beginning to happen. In her old age, Sarah would bear a son. Abraham could scarcely believe it, for the promise of God was finally coming to life. Camp waited with expectation for the child of promise, and then night arrived. Inside the tent, Sarah labored to bring forth the promise. Outside, Abraham waited. The men who once stood beneath the stars now stood on the edge of a miracle. Then suddenly, a cry pierced the silence of the night. The child of promise had arrived. Isaac was born. The old men who once doubted now held the fulfillment of God's word in his arms. And Sarah said, "God has made me laugh." And Abraham called his son Isaac, which means laughter. And joy filled Abraham's camp, for everyone knew a miracle had happened. This child was more than a son. He carried the covenant, the promise, and the future of nations. What God speaks, he fulfills. No promise is too difficult for him. And so the child of promise began his journey, a journey that would shape history forever. Sometimes, God's promises take longer than we expect. Abraham and Sarah waited for many years. There were moments of doubt, moments of pain, and moments when the promise seemed impossible. But God was never late. What he promises, he will fulfill, even when circumstances say otherwise, even when time has passed, and even when hope feels weak. God still works miracles. The birth of Isaac reminds us that nothing is too hard for the Lord. For the same God who brought life to Abraham and Sarah's impossible situation can also bring hope into ours. So when you feel forgotten, when prayers seem unanswered, or when the waiting becomes difficult, remember Isaac. Remember the God who keeps his promises, and understand this truth: delay is not denial, for in the right time, God will fulfill every word he has spoken.